Okay, let's try this again. Hi, everybody. This is Tamara from Moogly, and we're very much hoping that this time we have both sound and video. I apologize. We've been having a little bit of technical issues today. As many of you may know, I've been traveling for the past week. I was in Chicago for a conference, and during that time, some cords and laptops and things all got kind of repurposed, and now we are attempting again to go live with everything properly hooked up this time. I apologize for those who were waiting so patiently before for that to work. So it looks like we are running up on Facebook now. Let's see if things are up and running on YouTube as well. One moment. Yes. All right. We are officially functionally live everywhere, and I accidentally had my volume on, so I know the volume's there too. All right. Again, thank you everybody for your patience. Technical issues always like to strike. So anyway, welcome. It is the early days of May still, kind of, 2024. I have been gone for the past week at H&H Chicago, so I've got some cool things to share from that here in a little bit. But we've got lots of things to go over for today. So let's go ahead and get to it. First of all, of course, first thing on the list, just I'm going down the links that are attached to this post. So if you're watching this Facebook, YouTube, wherever you happen to be watching it, there is a list of links that go with today's post, or today's video, I should say, on the blog. And the video will be embedded there as well, so you can watch right along later and have those links ready for you as well. So I will be going back in and adding that video when it's over, as well as a link to what I'm wearing today, which is the Hygge Cocoon cardigan, which is a really great beginner piece. The yarn it's made with is discontinued, but you can pick your favorite chunky and make your own cardigan. It's a really fun and easy pattern. So what else is going on? Couple trips I want to talk about. There is the Crochet Guild of America Chain Space Retreat 2024 coming up. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to attend that one this year myself. I've got some family stuff going on, but it is July 25th through the 28th. It includes a trip to Webb's, which is, I think, one of the biggest yarn stores in the United States. It's taking place on Avon Old Farms Hotel in the Talcott Mountains of Connecticut. I had to write all that down. So it's going to be a really fun, I think, really intimate retreat this year. So definitely check that out if you're anywhere in the Connecticut area or you want to travel to that this summer. Now, I'm going to be asking you to do a bit of traveling with me this fall. You may have heard me talk about it before. If not, it is exciting news. I am going to England in October 2024 to lead a craft tours trip. So that means it won't just be seeing the regular old sights of England. We'll be going to the London Knitting and Stitching Show. Just happens to be during that week. Might have something to do with when we planned the trip. So we'll be going to that for a couple days, which is huge. I've never been, and I hear this is just the biggest, most amazing show. I cannot wait. So lots of shopping to do there. What else? We're also going to be going to Stonehenge, the Cotswolds. There's a trip to Downton Abbey. That's not the name of the real castle. I can never remember the name of the castle, but where Downton Abbey is filmed. So lots of really, really fun things. And this is such a great way to travel. I went on one of these trips to Ireland last year, and it's just, like I say, it's a really great way to travel and go on adventures that otherwise might seem to be a little bit intimidating. I know if I were trying to plan a trip by myself or for myself and, a couple friends over to England, that would seem really intimidating. But I love these tours because they really do kind of take care of everything for you. You've got a guide the whole time, which is super valuable when you're, it's in somewhere new. And of course, it's an instant group of friends. I hang out with you guys the whole trip. We just have a lot of fun traveling together, crafting together. While we're there, I'm going to be teaching at least 2 workshops, plus I'll be available for all your questions, your crochet questions, just chatting about crafts and blogging and life in general. It's just going to be such a phenomenal trip. The downside is that ticket sales have to end June 15th. It's just the way it is, with travel plans and everything. Again, we are traveling internationally here, so there's a little bit more ahead of time that you have to make that decision. So we have until June 15th to buy tickets. So I am asking those of you who can go, who want to go, to please join me on this trip. I think it's going to be phenomenal, and it's just going to be such a great, great time. But as I say, those ticket sales do end June 15th, so we need to get the word out. If you want to go, if you want to come by yourself, you can hang out with me. I'll be there. If you want to, bring friends, family. The great thing is trips like this, yes, there's going to be some crochet and some yarn and shopping. But like last time when we went to Ireland, someone brought their spouse who wasn't as interested in the craft portion, and that was fine. While we were doing workshops, they had free time. If you decide to get over there and you say, I'm having too good a time. I'm over here in England. When do I have the chance to do this? I'm going to skip the workshop too, or I'm going to do this other activity. That's fine too. This trip is for you. But I will be teaching a special original pattern while I'm there for the trip. So again, I just really hope you'll consider it. There is a link on mooglyblog.com, of course, and if you just go to crafttours.com, you'll find it as well. It's this October, London, England, with Tamara Kelly. That's me. And like I say, it's just going to be super fun. I know how much fun Ireland was, and I cannot wait to get over to England as well. So I do hope if it all fits into your budget, you will consider it and check it out. Alrighty, so that is all future stuff coming up. Let's talk about what's happened so far. We have, of course, the latest Moogly Crochet Along block. This one is from Celtic Knot Designs, and I know now that she's been doing a few of these every year, it is definitely a crowd pleaser that everybody has been waiting for. So, ooh, that yellow is real bright today. There we go. The camera, I had to adjust a little bit. Here it is. This is my last one that I'm making with this particular shade of yellow. My next one will be in green, as well as the gray and the white. But this is this year's Celtic Knot design. Isn't that beautiful? This is what it looks like from behind. I did a much better job, I think, sewing it together this year than I have in years past. That's the fun thing about these. I don't know if this year's was just easier or if I'm just getting used to them. But I know the first time I made one of these, it was sit down, dedicate an evening to just putting together the strips. And this one came together a lot faster. So like I say, I don't know if I'm just getting the hang of it or if they're getting just a little bit easier as we go. But once again, that's what it looks like from the back. So still very attractive, but definitely the wrong side. And this is the right side. And all those strips are just woven together. It looks really complicated, but like I say, this one's actually very simple. The crocheting itself is relatively simple, but you definitely want to have your stitch markers handy. I'm a huge fan of stitch markers. I talk about them all the time and how much, mental stress they can save you. It's like having a little extra brain right there. But for this one, you definitely want to have some stitch markers. They are going to come in extra, extra handy. And just take your time when you're putting those strips together. Jennifer really makes it easy. She's got some great diagrams, both right-handed and left-handed, which is super great. And like I say, don't let the looks of it intimidate you. It definitely, I think, is a little bit easier than it looks. And if it's your first time doing one of these, just take your time with it, lay it out, and believe me, you'll be surprised how very easy it is to actually get this really gorgeous look. Now, I don't know how she comes up with it. I don't know. That part is beyond my brain, but once she's written it out and put it together, it really does become very doable and very beautiful. I absolutely expect over the years, as we get a couple more from her, fingers crossed, I definitely expect to see some blankets out there where people have just put together all of her Celtic knot squares. I think those are going to be really beautiful as well. So, all right, and just coming back here again, thanks for those who have switched over to this new version of today's live with me. Thank you guys. I'm so glad you like that square. It really is a beautiful one. And I've got, the next one, like I say, already in the works. So very exciting. Those, as always, are made with either Red Heart with Love or Caron 1 pound. And of course, you can use your favorite worsted weight yarn that you love for Afghans. We had a new pattern, of course, come out that now has a tutorial as well. I showed this one to you guys last time. This one, I wanted to get out basically in plenty of time for Mother's Day. I didn't call it a Mother's Day pattern or anything like that, but wanted to make sure to get it out in time for Mother's Day. And this is the Rainbow Lattice Wrap featuring Bernat lattice. Happy coincidence. So it's a lattice stitch pattern that I made with lattice yarn. But I used 6 colors. You can, of course, use 1, a dozen, however many you'd like. This pattern, every time we come, there's one of my hairs. Every time we come to the end of a row, we break the yarn, which turns into this really beautiful fringe. So there's no ends to weave in. And we're able to get this great color work without having to weave in 500 ends at the end. So very much in my wheelhouse there. You guys know I love avoiding having to weave in those ends when possible, although I am a firm believer in weaving them in and not just crocheting over them. But this one does have a video tutorial up now, right and left-handed. You can see it's primarily chains and single crochets. It does have one weird first row, but of course that is very much gone over in the tutorial. And because I used 6 colors, I didn't even use a full skein of each color. I did use more of the purple because it was the first color, the first row, and I had a couple false starts. This pattern shrinks up a lot as you crochet. You make that first row and you're going to think this is way too long, but then you just saw how the fabric works. Once you add those other rows and gravity works, it does shrink up lengthwise quite a bit. But even so, this is how much purple I had left over after making that. And I just wanted to bring it back because it's just so pretty and give you guys yet another look at this yarn. You can see there's some huge, just beautiful color variations within it. It's sort of like a cage of the purple, if you will. And then the part inside that cage of the purple changes from white to dark purple. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's called a ladder type yarn, but it's really pretty. Let me see. And so I had a question. Somebody actually asked me about this yarn specifically. Of course, now I can't find the end, which I just hid for myself. There we go. Somebody was asking me if it untwists at all, and I don't think that would ever be a problem with this yarn. There it is. I found the end. There. And if you can see, it's not really a twisty yarn. So I guess like anything else, if you try and untwist it, you could get a little bit there, but it's not something that I have found untwists on its own at all. Let's pull this wrap up. It's gotten a fair bit of wear and being tossed around now. Let's see. Yeah, you can see the ends of those fringe, maybe just a hair, you know, loose, but really they're staying together quite nicely. This yarn frogs beautifully. It feels incredibly soft. So if you get a chance to pick some of this up, definitely do. If you see it in your stores, grab it. Otherwise, it's available on yarnspirations.com. And I would act fast. I don't know how long that yarn's going to be around. You just never know with new yarns if they're going to stick or not. So we've got to show them that we like it, right? All right, so that is out now with its video tutorial. And then I did a Michael's class for this hat right here. This is the Fuzzy Stripes Crochet Bucket Hat. I believe it's Karen Fuzzy Stripes Crochet Bucket Hat. It is made using Karen coconut cakes, which I have right here, an example of. There we go. And you can see this one's really fuzzy, and it might remind you a little bit of Red Heart Scrubby or Scrubby Smoothie, which was, you know, the cotton one. But it's actually a lot easier to work with than Scrubby. I gotta say, it's a whole lot easier to stitch with. It's a whole lot easier to frog. It definitely frogs a lot easier than Scrubby, but it still has that fuzzy look. So if you like that fuzzy look, but you don't want to deal with frogging or more difficulty stitching, this one is 78% cotton and 22% polyester. So you can still kind of get that look and feel, but it's really soft. It's not at all scrubby. It's a soft feeling yarn, and these guys aren't stiff or, you know, difficult to the touch or anything like that. It's really, really nice. So, and that is, of course, one of those coconut Karen cakes. I believe you'll want to go to Michael's to get these. But this video and links to the yarn, as far as I could link to the yarn, and the pattern, the free crochet pattern, are up on Moogly now as well. So many things to show. I'm running out of places to set them off to the side here. There we go. So, oh, thank you so much, you guys. I'm so glad you like that wrap, too. It was a lot of fun to make. Took a little bit of, like I say, a couple false starts, but it was definitely a lot of fun to make once you get going with that pattern. Alrighty, then there is, our book review. We've got a book giveaway still happening right here. Essential Knit Sweaters, book review and giveaway. I realize I still have a link up to the Crochet Baby Sets one, which I believe did end yesterday, so I apologize. I'll have to pull that link down, but congratulations to our winner. She has an email from me. I'm hoping to hear back from her soon. But we do still have this one going. Essential Knit Sweaters. It is by Fruki, I don't know, Ludwig. I believe it was originally published in German, so One of these days, I'll learn how to pronounce that first name. But this is a knitting book. This is for knitters, and it is actually really fantastic. It's got some great information. I'm already picking up a few tips as a relatively, I don't want to say a beginning knitter, but maybe advanced beginning knitter myself. But it's a lot of just really great basics. You can see right here. These aren't, unusual sweaters by any means, but that's great. These are sort of the basic sweaters that you want to fill out your wardrobe. You can see there's a couple of simple schematics. There's really great instructions. I love that each of the rounds is highlighted like that, and it's, set out ribbing, sleeves, etc. It really is a very approachable book for making knit sweaters. So if you haven't knit a sweater before or even crocheted a sweater before, but you're a knitter, definitely I would recommend this one. It's got, like I say, some really, really great basic shapes. And as I've said, my only complaint about this is that the patterns end at a 2X. I do wish they went up a few more sizes, and I want to go ahead and let people know that. So if you need a larger size, this might not be the book for you. But if you're a 2X or below, some really, really great basics in this book. So great one to check out, and that giveaway is still up and running right now. All right, what else we've got? And I'm calling it Maker May, because we're makers and it's May. What we've got, the Bernat Maker May giveaway, because it's May and we're giving away Bernat Maker. Bernat Maker used to be Bernat Maker Home Deck. You might know it by that name, but they've re-released it in some gorgeous new colors, and now it's just Bernat Maker because, of course, it's not just for home decor. But you can see, there we go. This is, again, a really unique yarn construction, kind of like the Bernat Lattice. It's very different. It's not your usual twisted ply. But this one is a tubular yarn. Getting a little bit of glare there. But you can see it's a tube. The outer portion is cotton, and then the inside is nylon. Now, where the end is on this skein might take me a minute to find. Let's go ahead. Oh, I'd wrapped it up around the middle. There we go. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus on this. You can see maybe just a little bit. There's basically nylon stuffing inside this tube. You can see it makes it stretchy. There we go. See that stretch? And it makes it really soft because the cotton is what you actually touch with your skin. And like I say, these colors are gorgeous. The stitch definition is phenomenal. We've got a giveaway going for it right now. I have a couple patterns out using it. My most recent one is the Star Maker blanket, where I use the star stitch because the stitch definition in this stuff is really great for it. But I'm going to go ahead now and give you your sneak peeks. I have so many things. Oh, I left the sneak peeks over at my other desk. Jeff, would you mind grabbing those? I was finishing up those posts earlier yesterday, actually, because they are going to be the posts for today. So I'm going to have a new pattern come out tomorrow and a second new pattern that coordinates with it come out on Friday. So let's see. Yes. And then the white thing on the floor, the white bag on the floor. All right. Thank you, Jeff. You had to bring me all this stuff. So anyway, like I was saying earlier, I came back from a big trip this week, so everything's just been a little bit disorganized. Thank you. This is it. All right. So tomorrow's new pattern, the casual crochet crossbody bag. Right here, featuring Bernat Maker. And this right there is the herringbone half double crochet stitch. And look at the texture. This reminds me so much of those white milk glass lamps. I don't know if anybody's going to know what I'm talking about. Somebody's going to know. Those white milk glass lamps that had just the little bumps on them. I remember they were all over like my grandmother's house, and you see them sometimes in like Goodwills and charity shops and places like that. But I got sort of a really similar texture by using the Bernat Maker and the herringbone half double crochet. So it's a simple crossbody pouch. You can see right here, I came up with a lovely handle. I really like the handle. You can see right there, it's got just a bit of stretch to it for comfort. You can adjust it to personal length just by, make that loop longer, shorter, add more stitches if you want it longer. And then the top has this really fun, unique construction right here with this loop that's made using a Pico single crochet. And it just pops right through that hole and right over the button, like so. There we go. So it's nice and secure. It's a nice solid fabric with just a little bit of stretch. You could line it if you want to, but as long as you're not putting, darning needles or anything like that in there, you shouldn't have to. It seals closed all in one action there. All you have to sew on is a button and the handles. That's all the sewing. Otherwise, it's completely seamless. That's what it looks like from the back there. Just a really fun summer pouch. It's kind of got that vibe, you know, that summery boho vibe that's been so popular. So after I came up with that, that's going to come out tomorrow. I kept having extra yarn. There was extra yarn left in the skein. And I thought, how fun would it be to make a little accessory for it? So I actually grabbed another color because I wanted to use this color so much. This is the saffron. It's just such a happy yellow. And I made a little matching pouch. Same textured stitches, same basic pattern. Couple changes. I changed the top a little bit. It does close the same way. Let me turn that around here so you can see it. Pull that through here. There we go. But there's just enough room in here for your cards, your debit cards, a little bit of cash. Wouldn't put your change in here, you know, but a little bit of cash, paper money, your debit card, your ID, all of those can fit right in here. And then this one has a long side handle. That I love pouches like this because when I've got a bag, I like to just put that pouch right here. Kind of hard to do this backwards on the camera. There we go. Put the pouch right on the handle, slip the pouch itself right through there. And now you don't have to go digging around in your purse for all those cards. They're just right there. You can leave it hang on the outside if you want to, or again, hard to hold the arms up and do this here, facing away from myself. Let me get this loop off the button. There we go. You can always just toss it right inside the bag, seal up the bag. And then, you know, when you get to somewhere where you need to pull out your cards or your money, you can just kind of grab that loop and pull it on up right out of the bag. You don't have to go digging around. So it's two parts. There's the bag and there's the pouch. The bag will come out tomorrow. The pouch will come out Friday. And like I said, I'm keeping them separate because I think they really can function separately. Of course, if you make the bag, you don't need to make the pouch. And this pouch is really, like I say, is the perfect size for all your cards. So you can make a bunch of these and add them to all your bags. Any bags, make it without making this bag. Make one and just switch them out easily between your different purses and totes and things. I think it's just really going to be sort of that super handy little extra add-on. So this will come out on Thursday and this will come out on Friday this week. And then you can make one or both, whatever you need for your summer look. So those are the about to be newest crochet patterns on Moogly coming out this week. So, oh, thank you so much, guys. Yes, and Julia, you know what I'm talking about with those milk glass pieces. I didn't inherit any from my grandmother, and now I'm a little sad about it. But thank you. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys like the purse. Thank you, Brenda. I'm just going to go over here and see how we're doing. Oh, and thank you so much, Heather. That's so sweet. None of these patterns are particularly difficult. And if they, that I've shown you here, and if you do get stuck on these two, I will have a video tutorial coming out for them next week. It'll be a joint video tutorial for both because it's sort of the basic idea, basic stitch pattern for both with just a few changes. So that video tutorial, barring more technical difficulties, will be out next week. So thank you. I'm so glad you guys like those. It was really fun. And I'm just, it sounds silly, but I'm really in love. And it's not showing up well here, but I'm really in love with the look of this handle. And I couldn't even decide which side I wanted to make the right side. I kept going back and forth, so I've left it open for you guys. Make whichever side you want to be the right side. It's just got some great, simple texture to it. Just a little bit of stretch, which I think you want with a crossbody bag. Not too much, but you know, a little bit of give. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to wear this summer, and I hope you guys enjoy making it as well. So those are your sneak peeks. As terms of Michael's classes for this month, I still haven't heard. I'm hoping to get that email any moment now when I will be teaching more Michael's classes. I've been told it'll be a couple more this month, so probably those last 2 Tuesdays of the month, but I can't officially say for sure. Again, I will get that information up for you guys ASAP as soon as I have it. So since I can't talk about those things today, I thought I would show off just a few things that I got at the H&H conference that I thought I'd share with you guys that were pretty cool and that you might want to check out for yourself. So first I'll share that on Tuesday, I was very honored to be part of a marketing panel as part of the Content Creators Summit. So if you're somebody who's a content creator and you didn't go to H&H this year, I would definitely recommend going next year and watch for the Content Creators Summit. It's usually the Tuesday of that week. H&H officially starts Wednesday, so it's the day before. So you don't miss any of the show, but I got this beautiful bag. H&H Americas is the company that puts on the conference. They also have H&H Cologne, which is a German version, which I would love to get to one day, but that's a future me. Go Sadie, I've talked about a little bit about that before. It's a startup that I am working with a little bit. I am a huge fan of them. So if you design patterns or anything, definitely go check out gosadie.com. But cool bag, very honored, as I said, to be part of the marketing summit. That was a lot of fun. And there were some goodies we got from that and that we got over the course of the week. So I just want to give some of them a shout out. This one, a gorgeous skein of yarn from Queensland collection called Kathmandu. Isn't that pretty? No idea what it's going to be, but I'm one of those people who has to wait and kind of get the yarn and let it decide what it wants to be. I don't usually order yarn with a project in mind, unless it's a yarn I've used a lot before, like Bernat Blanket, or Red Heart with Love. If it's something new, I have to kind of hold on to the yarn and wait for it to tell me what it wants to be. So this one hasn't spoken to me just yet. There is this, which I think is a really fun thing from, who makes this? Sock Ruler and Twice Sheared Sheep. They had these made. It's another little local yarn company type yarn company, but this is really fun. It's a slap bracelet and it's got shoe sizes on one side. So if you make socks or just want to know what shoe size you might be. And then the other side has inches and centimeters. There it is. So that's really neat. And it's just a slap bracelet. So very handy. Thought that was pretty cool. This is something, this brought me back. This is so funny. This is a darning egg from Knit Picks. Did not realize they sold these. This brings me back though, because I spent so much time in elementary and probably middle school, junior high years, darning my dad's socks. Did anybody else do that growing up? You'd have the spool of cotton thread and you'd have to put the sock over something in order to darn the holes. Eventually my mom got to the point where she would just sew across the toes and just make the tube socks shorter and shorter. But I spent so much time darning socks, and we didn't have something cool like this. We had to use old burnt out light bulbs, regular light bulbs to hold the hole open. So I feel like this is very fancy, but very cool product, a darning egg. So if you, especially these days, I don't know how many people are darning their store-bought socks, but if you make handmade socks, could definitely be a handy product. Also, I managed to pick up some new stork scissors. These ones are by Anchor. Love these. You can never have too many pairs of those scissors, right? This was really neat. I hadn't seen products from this company before. It's called, I'm going to say it wrong, Likey? That's wrong. I don't know how to say it. I've practiced and I could not get it to stick in my head. But just they have some really pretty wooden things. This was a yarn needle gauge, but they've also got some beautiful shawl pins and things like that to check out for sure. Sew Tights is a new company. They've been around for, I think, just a couple years now, maybe. Or at least they've only been coming to the convention for a couple years. But they are pretty neat. If you do any sewing, this is really neat. This is a wearable magnetic straight pin and strip holder. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up here because I think it is actually a really great product for all kinds of crafters, not just sewers. Or sewists, seamstresses. I know that's not the word you're supposed to use anymore, but I'm never sure. When you write sewer, it looks like sewer. So I feel like that's not the right one either. So basically, we have this part, which has the magnet in it, and this part, which is a metal disc. And you could use it as a shawl pin, but when you put it on your shirt like this, then you've got, of course, none of them want to be near me right now, but you've got your yarn needle that you're always losing in the couch. Maybe that's just me. Stick it right on here. Your yarn needle never goes away. You always have it right where you need it. And again, if you do any sort of embroidery or hand sewing, anybody, right, who has a needle that they want to use, or if you just like a green shawl pin, that could work too. I'm going to put it back on the paper so that they don't get permanently stuck together. But I think that's pretty neat. They have all kinds of magnetic tools for sewing, like sticking your fabric together without leaving holes in it, which can be really important depending on the kind of fabric you're using. But I think this one is, like I said, this one's really great for anybody who uses any needle, right? There were some charities there that I wanted to highlight. As you guys may know, if you follow me on Facebook, every Sunday morning, usually around 9 a.m., I share a different charity, and I kind of cycle through a list of 40 or so that I've got listed. But the ones that were there that I wanted to give another shout out to are Knit the Rainbow. There it goes. This one was just founded in June 2020. So this one their mission is providing handmade, warm knit and crochet winter garments for houseless LGBTQ plus youth. So this is a really great organization. If anybody wants to find out more information on them, you can see their information there right at the top, Knit the Rainbow Inc. And then this is another new one actually, that I've been really excited about, the Loose Ends Project. And this is really sweet. This is an organization where if you've had a relative or you know someone who has passed and they were a knitter, a crocheter, anybody who did handwork like that, and they left a project unfinished, they will finish the project. Whether it's unfinished due to death or disability, they will go in and finish those projects so that the family can enjoy them. It's just such a touching organization. I want to hold this up here so you can see the looseensproject.org. Don't know that the QR code will work here on video, but it is, again, just a really touching organization doing some good work as well. So it was really neat to be able to see both of those at the conference as well. Another thing we got, I'm a big fan of these color wheels. If you haven't used color wheels before, I actually did, I think it was a Michael's class on these. It was either a Michael's class or a Yarnspirations Lunch and Learn. But if you're somebody who feels nervous or, hesitant about putting different yarn colors together, these can be really helpful. And then I got some new books, and I got to meet the authors. Tova Favang, she's wonderful. She's a lovely Norwegian lady and designer. Classic Crochet the Modern Way is a book that she's got out right now, and it's always lovely because when I get to meet them, I get to have them sign the book, and it's so exciting. And she's really, really nice and really fun. There's some really great, just kind of classic crochet patterns in here. Pot holders, handbags and drawstring bags, scarves. Really, really great stuff with sort of that Nordic touch. And then I got to go to a book signing for Melissa Leitman's new Insta Knits for Baby book. So if you're a knitter looking for some baby patterns, can't go wrong with anything by Melissa. Right there, lots of really gorgeous, fun patterns for babies. And then I got to get Toni Lipsy's latest book. I've had the pleasure of meeting Toni a few times now. She's really lovely, and I've been wanting to get my hands on this one for a while to check it out as well. So, like I said, I haven't had much of a chance to look inside it yet, but really lovely lady, and I cannot wait to check it out and learn some more Tunisian tricks. I really enjoy Tunisian crochet. I don't get a chance to do it as much as I'd like, but I think, like any other craft, kind of like crochet versus knitting versus Tunisian, they all have different ways that your brain needs to work to design with them. So I do a little bit of Tunisian and I enjoy it, but I think I like following other people's patterns for it just as much. The final thing is I wanted to show Yarnspirations was there as well. They didn't have a booth, but they had some people and they had a little meeting room you could stop by. And I just thought this bag was so much fun. Feeling naughty, might craft later. Even got the crochet on it there. I love it. So that is probably my favorite new bag from the event. So the H&H conference, if you're anybody who works in the crochet, whether that's as a pattern tester or as a designer or anything basically within that, you're working with yarn or any other crafts, I do definitely recommend. It's only once a year. I believe next year will also be in May of 2025. And I will plan on being there myself. It's a really great opportunity to check out lots of other crafts and talk to some companies and meet other crafters. So yeah, we got lots of, Rosa, yep, we used a bulb too. I had to use a light bulb. So like I say, this feels very fancy to me. But I think for especially the knitters who love to knit socks, that is going to be a very handy item. So yay. Oh, thank you guys so much. Yes, it was a lot of fun. It's always fun getting a few little pieces of swag at these events. And Kim, I'm so glad you like the bag as well. It's going to be, yes, great Christmas stocking stuffers. And I didn't do the math, but you could get you get a whole bunch of these out of one skein and probably a couple of these out of one skein, or at least this and a few of these out of one skein of the Bernat Maker. I have to go back and do the actual math on that, but yes, it is going to be a great bulk gift item as well, especially these little pouches if you've got coworkers, if you do craft fairs, anything like that. I think those will go over really well. So, thank you again for being patient with us today while we dealt with our technical difficulties. Coming back from a trip and rehooking all the wires and everything is always a challenge, but fingers crossed, we've got it figured out now and it'll be smooth sailing. And other than some personal trips for family, for instance, my oldest son, my middle child, going off to college this fall. So we're going to have a few trips for that. But other than that, the next trip for me professionally will be in October, that trip to England. And I want you to come with me. So do check out that link. Even if you can't go, if you know somebody who's interested, send them that link. Even if they don't crochet, they can tag along and, skip the crochet workshops and have more free time over there. And definitely, if they're a knitter, they're not going to want to miss the London Knitting and Stitching Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully I will see you there. If not, I'll definitely see you next time. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And for those who celebrate, happy Mother's Day this weekend. Bye, everybody.